Yeah, happy to get back on the right track. It's a step in the right direction. We've had two, three, what I thought, 2, 3 good days of practice, focusing on really, again, the attention to detail. Sometimes you can get humbled in thinking, that you're a little better than what you are, and that's all of us. Starting from the top, all the way on down within the program. But we got to get back to work, and that's what we've been doing. And I think, we got some payback today. And it's a start. Again, it's a start. Probably the thing that stands out to me when I look at the stat sheet is seven turnovers and 10 steals. We got back to getting our deflections and doing different things, and I was really happy about that. The numbers were low, and I just feel like in the last couple games we've been turning the ball over at the wrong time. Live ball turnovers kill you, and we had a lot of those because it led to transition points, obviously, for the other team. And next thing is I thought it was great to see the bench guys get extended minutes in a meaningful game, and so I was happy for Soiree and Duncan and Jaden, Luke. He's still coming back from his ankle injury, but just guys being able to play extended minutes, again, in a meaningful game to see what they can do. Jaden, I think he's going to be a really good player. And, Duncan, he had 8 big rebounds. And Soiree, his energy, I think, is contagious, and he really helps us out when he's in there. So, I was happy about that as well.
Okay, questions?
Coach, talking about energy, how did it help your team to get off to that start with Lance in the lineup? Because he seems to be the energy guy.
I mean, Lance is a guy you can, start. He come off the bench. I look at him as a 6th starter, and I've said that he did a good job this evening. I think that, the biggest thing with Lance is I don't really like him playing those, 36 minutes. That's too many minutes to me for him. I think he's better. And the same way, at 25, 26, it's always funny because even me as a player, I wanted to play all the minutes, right? And if you look at Lance Terry's numbers, he played 36 minutes, but it's the same numbers as he's been having when he played 24, 25. So I think that's perfect. But to start the game tonight, he gave us a little bit more. We can put Nate on another guy, and Lance can guard the ball, and just the fact that he's aggressive, getting downhill, and he had 5 big steals. He got his hands on a lot of passes and different things. So it was great to see him get off to that good start because I did think that it ignited us.
I guess talking about energy, did you kind of start, with a full court press, kind of get the energy going early, kind of the way, had slow starts the last 2 games, but to get that press going, is that kind of something you were thinking about to get the energy up early?
Yeah, we just gonna play more people. Like we don't have a team today that can sit back and punch people in the mouth. So we got to go do the hunting. So we gonna start hunting, and so that's what this is all about. Getting up the floor, dead ball situations. We up the floor, and I think that was what was gonna be exciting for me to watch tonight, and that's why it happened this way based on foul trouble, but I was going to play more people anyway because I had already made up my mind after the last game. And so I thought that everybody that came in contributed. They brought energy. They did things that contributed to the win, and that's what a team is all about. Again, right now today where we're at, we're not where we want to be, obviously, but we're going to need everybody. And until we find our rhythm consistently on the offensive end, we got to start on defense and limit teams to one shot, create turnovers so we can get out and we can run.
Talking about the defense and emphasizing it in practice and everything, it seemed like to start the game you did a much better job of fighting through the screens, which perhaps you weren't doing before, and you also did a better job of switching, which took away a lot of those drives down the lane.
Yeah, well, we focused on things that can get us better, but more importantly, we held them accountable for it. I just think like sometimes what happens is you got to get back to work. You got to fall in love with the work, and I think that each guy on our team got to fall back in love with the work. You want everything to come with it, but the work, and you got to fall in love with the work to be successful. Um, it's always a little bit different when you're playing and you're at the top of someone's scouting report. And I tell people, like, don't take for granted guys to get numbers because they do it every day. Like, when you average those certain amount of points, when you pass for those amount of yards in football, that means they do it every day. So how are you going to neutralize that? He going to get his. And you can't take that for granted. And I think that sometimes our guys took some things for granted. I'm supposed to be on the floor. I'm supposed to get shots. I'm supposed to do this. No, you got to earn that. You got to earn that right. And so that's what we going to do. We going to get back to work. Guys not going to really like me right now. I'm going to lean on these guys until I see exactly where we need to be. And right now we not there. So am I happy about tonight? Extremely. Am I satisfied? Not at all.
Did you JVN was out tonight? Do you have any update on him? And then Darian too? Any kind of injury updates? We're just kind of taking it game by game with them.
D Sutton I think is pretty much the same. I don't know how close he's getting, and Javian he's feeling better, but I think his symptoms are still concussion like. So I'm not for sure what he's doing, but again he's feeling better. He just. After last game, it wasn't even after last game. It was during when he got to the locker room. So it's just, he'll be fine. I know he'll be back. I just don't know when.
You shot over 50% tonight. Was that a result of shot collection, maybe shooting fewer threes and having some guys with strength like Terry and Mustaf, getting to the basket a lot more?
No, but we talked about the last couple of days, taking the shots that you're given, and tonight against Charleston, we were able to turn corners. I wouldn't say it's because we didn't shoot a lot of threes. I just think that we took what was given to us, and we still scored 91 points. So I was proud of our guys for doing that. Because a lot of times we get to tricking ourselves. We pass up a good shot to try to get another shot. And I thought tonight we just took the shots that was there, and obviously we shot a good percentage. The ball was getting to the second side, and guys were making plays. So I was happy with that. I was happy with the shot selection, but more importantly, I was happy with the ball getting to the second side. And then us making the right read, whether that was a shot or a pass.
And then Jaden Mustaf had to kind of step up into a bigger role tonight. It's kind of, I guess, you feel like he's that kind of player that can do that. Did you see kind of his confidence grow tonight? And I know early, being a freshman, do you feel like he kind of grew into something, a really, really impactful player tonight and showed his ability?
Yeah, I think he's just tapping the surface. When he gets more comfortable, he'll be even better. What he has to figure out, he has it hard. He has to figure out how the refs are going to officiate him. And then he has to figure out, how the other team is going to guard him. He's a strong kid. And, he picks up an offensive foul every game. But I don't know if it's an offensive foul or he's just a lot bigger than the guy and they just act like they get, they dying when he hit them, but he's going to have to figure that out. But I do believe that he's going to be a hell of a player. Again, he's just scratching the surface. And I think tonight, even some of the shots that he missed, I know he would probably want to have those back, but I was happy for him. Again, he was one of those guys that got extended minutes, and I was happy to see him perform well.
You talk about Bai and Nate. They have maybe had to sit on the bench a little longer than expected because of the foul issues, but when they were on the floor, they were really productive. Both scored 17. Nate had 7 assists. By had 8 rebounds. So I imagine it's important to keep them away from some of the some of the fouls that they're committing.
Yeah, I mean, it's some things go both ways, and I think that obviously they're not perfect on the floor in terms of the fouls, but some of them weren't fouls to me. But that's another story. But I think that Bai especially, I think sometimes he gets a little tired, and he'll make a silly foul here or there, and I think that he has to get that out of his game, and I got to do a better job with him. And I did take him out early. I was going to have him his rotation minutes a little bit different, but then the foul trouble came. But he has to do a better job of, when he gets fatigued, I think that's when he gets a lot of his fouls. And with Nate, I just think he has to be a little bit more solid, on the defensive end and not put himself in harm's way. It's one of them things I think is growth on his part. He's trying to figure it out defensively, both on the ball and off the ball. But both of them are getting better. But to your point, when they were on the floor, they were really efficient, and I was happy the way they played on both ends of the floor.
And then kind of one more injury thing. I know Reeves went out in the second half, just kind of more of a precautionary thing, not bringing him in. If it was a closer game, do you think he could have got back in there and played?
Yeah.
Just kind of held him out in the second half.
Yeah. Our trainer held him out, and he'll be fine and ready to go next game.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach.
All right.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you guys as well.